those of you who may be already here, and I'll say this again, we're going to do wall stuff. So if you're not set up where you can put the short edge against a wall, you can do everything without the wall. And this will be recorded, or this is being recorded, so you will be able to go back and play it when you are set up for a wall. But if you can move to a wall, or even, I only have the edge of the couch here, and I'm going to be able to do most of it with that. So if you have the end of a bed or a couch or something that isn't going to move, you can use that as well for some of them. Anyway, I thought I'd go over the wall stuff today. Next week is our last Saturday class with me. And we're just going to do a basic yin class and basic ball class. As we will Wednesday, we're just going to do hatha. Just going to go through doing the poses, and no, not all this detail that I've been giving you. Anyhow, we still have another couple minutes, so I will let anybody else, I'll start it again, I'll say it again in a couple minutes. I still haven't gone to that new place, new old place. It's on Walnut Street. And I have her phone number too, so I could call her. I will. I'd rather go and stop in, and I'm going to have to do that anyway, so I might as well do them both at the same time, because I'm sure she'll want me to see the room to be sure I can use it. And from what I heard, I know the building, I don't think it can be as big. I was told it's as big as the pavilion we use for space, but I don't think it can be that big. But I think it'll be enough for us if we decide to do something once in a while. 1 more minute, according to my watch. Okay, we're going to start in bound angle, so bottoms of your feet together. Be sure you're supporting your knees as needed. You're sitting on a blanket if needed. And you can just have your hands on the floor and lean forward a little bit. And stay straight, or you can round down over your feet. Whichever feels like it's the area that you may need to stretch. You can do one for a while and change to the other. Hold the pose. Bound angle is always a good one to start in. I'm going to freeze here for a moment. Huh. That's interesting. Only interesting in the fact that I can't see everybody who is here as I could on the computer. It would just make each thing smaller as more people came. It doesn't do this on the phone. That's okay. Again, we're going to use the wall. If you're not set up for the wall, you can just slowly come out of bound angle and move everything, what you watch or listen to, and your mat, so the skinny edge can be up against a wall or the end of a couch or a bed or something that you can put your feet on about knee height when you're laying down. Should be plenty. Right now we're holding bound to angle. And I am going to send the link to the downloads. I have more people in my Zoom list than actually have come to the classes. So I'm just going to send the link for the downloads to all of you who've been coming, I mean, more or less regularly. We're or at least shown some interest, because if hasn't been any interest in doing it with Zoom, there won't be any interest in doing it from the videos. So there's no point. We are still in bound angle. And is to use the wall in a variety of ways so that we can see some that we can do against a wall. You can use it as a reference. That's 3 minutes. If you need to come out of the pose, please do so. I have a group of people I kayak with, and I have a group of people I bicycle with, and in some cases it may overlap, but my kayaking friends wanted to go out Friday after I'd made an agreement to go biking, so I couldn't, and then both were canceled because of the weather. And I think the kayakers were going to try today, but I'm not sure. Maybe this afternoon. I don't think the bikers are. That's 4 minutes, so come lift slowly back up, or come back up to straight. Let your legs go forward, lean back a little bit, and rock your legs, or you could do it with knees bent. Rock without pressing them to the floor. This is just to be loosened up. Rock a little bit that way. Windshield wipers, it's called. And you'll see if you get the Bernie Clark book that they do this a lot in between windshield wipers. It's a good one. Uh-oh, I hear a cat. Okay, come to the wall, or you can use a strap or 2 straps. We're going to do legs, just straight legs up the wall. It's better for your knees if you can be right up against the wall. I usually go up sideways, forward a little bit, so that when I lay back, I'm on the mat, and I turn, and I put my legs up the wall. If you're out a little bit and you put your legs up the wall, you can be pushing too much on the backs of your knees, hyperextend, because of the, well, anyway, you could feel it. So try to be up close so your legs are straight up the wall, and you could have your knees bent. Your legs may not go up the wall. Your hamstrings may be tight. That's okay. Bend your knees. That's okay for the knees. So you can bend them a little bit and just let them lay up the wall. Hold the pose. Or if you have, you can put a strap around both your feet and hold them up. And again, your knees can be bent if your hamstrings are tight. But I'd rather have you close to the wall and have your knees bent than out away from the wall with your legs up the wall, because your hamstrings are tight. Generally, if your hamstrings are tight, it would be okay to have your butt away from the wall, because you're not going to be hyperextending for sure. So if that's the case, go ahead and shift away from the wall a little bit and have your legs up the wall. But pay attention to how your knees feel. Hold the pose. I gotta go think. I better put a cat out while you guys are holding the pose. I'll be sending out an email to the effect, but I am going to be canceling my Zoom subscription. That's right. At the end of the month, at the end on our last yin class, so any links you have won't be usable, but you won't need to use them. I mean, you could do it and kind of get together in your own little Zoom thing, except that it's not going to be there. And I will still be able to use Zoom the same way everybody else does, the free way. So we can still do a one-on-one, maybe a two-on-one. I don't remember what the limit is, but I know there's a limit. Lace up the wall is really good for you. It may not be comfortable if your hamstrings are tight, but it's very good for the heart. And it's good for the thyroid, slightly. Shoulder stand is better, but who wants to do that, right? At least for 3 minutes. That is 3 minutes. If you need to come out, don't do it just by sitting up or something. Bend your knees, roll to your side, and come out of the pose if you need to, or just bend your knees, feet down the wall. You can hug your knees into your belly and rock a little bit if you want to come out. The rest of you have another 30 seconds or so. Okay, that's 4 minutes. Now, rather than move away from the wall, just bring your feet down towards your glutes, your butt, and then wrap your arms around your knees, pull your knees in a little bit, rock a little bit side to side, work it out a little bit. There's really not a lot to work out with this one for most of us, but it's good to get a little bit of a back massage in between. Okay, feet on the wall. This time, bring your feet. See, I'm not using the wall, and I can still do it. And you can do it with your hands if you don't have a wall. But put your feet on the wall and let your knees go wide. Let your heels, they'll slide down a little bit more as the muscles release, as the tendons and ligaments release. And it may just be the balls of your feet that touch or your toes touch rather than your whole foot. Don't try to force the heels to touch. Try to be relaxed. My feet, the bottoms of my feet turn a little bit toward me when I'm on the wall like this. So, again, being close, bring your heels down, let them come down as far as they can without forcing anything. Just let them slide down, let your knees be apart. This is like a bound angle, only it's different. Hold the pose. Remember, if you have any questions, I have sound for you all on. It was in a crossword puzzle. A Southern group expression or something like that. I forget what the clue was. You all. I don't know I think it might have been YAWL, y'all. Forget what they call. Wish I could remember the clue. Next week we might just do 3-minute holds. That way we'll be able to go through more poses. And remember, when you practice Yin on your own, you don't have to do a whole routine. You can just do a couple, the ones that you think you need most. Maybe hold them a little bit longer, no longer than 7 ever. And try to not hold them any less than 3 minutes. You're going to find that you remember and you get no more than you think you do. You have to start doing your own practice. It's the best way to learn, and you will find out you know a lot more than you think you do. It's like my husband usually drives when we go out together, and some places we always go together, and I never, when we first moved here, I never really paid attention how we got there. So when I had to go myself, I didn't have a clue. The same kind of thing. But as I would drive, I would remember the turns. It's 3 minutes. We're going to start doing sided ones, which take twice as long. And we may just hold the sided ones for 3 minutes just so I can get through. But we'll hold the unsided ones for 4. I hope this sound is coming through. I'm sure somebody would have told me if not. Because I tried to check the microphone on the camera phone, and I couldn't tell if it was moving when I talked. Okay, that's 4 minutes. And just let your legs go up the wall, or bring your knees in, feet against the wall, and hug them a little bit and rock a little bit if you want. Or the legs can go up the wall and you can turn them side to side a little bit if you want. Okay, bring your feet back down the wall like you were, round angle. And let your left leg go out. Your right heel stays in. We do this seated a lot, but this is gonna stretch that inner thigh. As you relax, you may find that the leg kind of slides down the wall a little bit. Make sure your back stays flat, both sides stay down equally. And just try to relax that left leg. Don't let it go. If it starts to go beyond where it's comfortable, you can put a block. This is my handy one right now. You can put a block under like at the knee, so one part, half of the leg doesn't go and not the other half. So put it like on the side of the knee to prevent you from sliding down too far. If it starts to get too much, hold the pose. Or block. Block is slightly better because you can support above and below and at the knee, which is what you want to do. So you're supporting the upper leg and the lower leg if you're supporting with a block. You do it sideways, long. You can see that. Let me see if you can see this side of the couch. Yes, you can. Okay. I am going to freeze again for a second, but just hold the pose. This is, again, this is 3 minutes. We're going to decide it once so that I can, we're not doing bad on time though, but just to be safe. Okay, bring the left heel in, or the leg that you had out to the side in, and stretch the other leg out to the side. Would be, if you were doing it, if you don't have a wall, you can do it seated with one heel in and the other leg out. Stretch forward a little bit. Hold the pose, support the leg, the straight leg if you need to, and you might need to support the bent knee leg as well with blocks or blankets. 15 more seconds. Hang in there. Okay, release. You can have your legs straight up the wall and rock a little bit side to side, or hug your knees in, rock a little bit side to side. Feet on the wall, rock a little bit side to side. Okay, this is a single-sided one. Legs wide on the wall. And then I use my hands so that because it's hard to bend your legs when they're this wide, to bend your knee and see if you can get the side of your feet on the wall or the bottoms of the feet. Mine, it turns out to be the side because my legs aren't down that far to get the bottoms of the feet on the wall. And just, this is happy baby. If you don't have a wall, you can do traditional happy baby. Keep your feet up. You either hold your feet or hold behind your calves with your arms around the outside, or this is different. It feels very different when you do it on the wall. So if you're at a wall, try to do it this way. Or you can just keep your legs straight. If you feel too much in the knees doing it that way, just keep your legs straight and do a wide. I was going to say a wide forward bend, but we're not forward bending. Hold the pose. This is going to be for 4 minutes. And again, if your legs start to slide wider than those tendons and ligaments want to have happen, rather than use muscle to keep them from sliding, put something underneath them so you can stay relaxed. Block, blankets, pillows, whatever can keep them up a little bit, supporting above and below the knee, or at least there on the side of the knee. I don't know which would be more important, I guess. You know, perhaps the lower leg would be more important to support if you have to choose, because your muscles would be pulling and keeping the upper leg from going down too far, I would assume. Next Wednesday is our last Wednesday. Again, I'll send out an email. Next Saturday will be our last Saturday through Zoom. And Amy will be in touch as to classes that she may be offering Monday still, I'm sure. And perhaps begin. Today. Now, if this is too strong for you, come out of the pose now. That's 3 minutes. Otherwise, hang in there. Okay, that's 4 minutes. Come out of the pose. Work it out a little bit, whatever feels right for you. Legs up the wall or hugging in. Okay, everybody's favorite, not, but we know the benefit. It really gets you. It's more than any other pigeon, I think, as far as the stretch goes. Legs up the wall, cross your right ankle above on your thigh, just above the left knee. And I would recommend you flex that right foot, kind of keep it flexed so the right leg isn't going to be completely relaxed. And then bend your left leg, sliding your foot down the wall. But don't take it down below your knee. I have to because of what I'm using. Because that, make sure if you take it down, your knee actually moves away. So you're actually getting less of a stretch. So keep it up so the shin is at the very most parallel to the floor. You may have to look to be sure it doesn't come down too far. Hold the pose. This is a 3 minute. You don't have to flex that right foot tight, just enough to pull a little bit on the supporting muscles around the knee so it doesn't allow the bottom half of the leg to come in while the top half of the leg is pushing out. And the action is happening right at the knee. I think it's better than, I've been recommending this for a while, it's better than us judging, oh, my knee feels okay, I can do this. We may not be feeling what it's doing. So rather than take a chance, just flex your crossed foot. I know that's not something that was taught originally in my classes or in any other class, but just thinking about it, realizing that sometimes we may have taken an aspirin for other things or some kind of a pain reliever before we do a class, so we may not feel what's happening as clearly as is good. So better safe than sorry. This is, as I said, only going to be 3 minutes. 15 more seconds. Okay, uncross the right leg, legs back up the wall, cross the left leg. And then bend your right knee and move that right leg down slowly. Make sure you flex the left foot. Each side is different. You don't even have to bend the right knee. If you cross the left leg and that feels like a good stretch, just keep it there. Bend the right knee just a little bit less, do it a lot less than the other side. Pay attention to what you feel. And as to this pose and the flexing of the foot, I mean, all my years of practice and going to other classes and everything, it has never, my knees are okay, my knees are fine, not flexing the foot. But now I just kind of think it's a good idea. Especially if your hips are tight. That's where the problem's going to start, the hips. Do it. We're still running out of time. Okay, legs up the wall. Uncross, work it out a little bit. I think we'll have time for the next one. Bring your feet down, knees bent, and just let your legs go to the left, feet on the wall. And if you're up close with your butt against the wall, that brings your knees up a little bit. You could shift, try to turn your chest to the ceiling, or have something that your right arm can rest on. Your knees are going left. You might need something for your right arm to rest on. It's okay if the knees separate. You can hold them with your left hand on the right leg, holding it a little bit down with the weight of your arm. Hold the pose. Twist. Try to stay relaxed. I know, but try. Relax your back. That's odd. I'm just demonstrating it there. It felt like a deeper twist than I normally get. Even though even with the cross, but then I'm not as warmed up as you all are. So it may not feel that to you. Last week in ball, we did feet on the wall, the lifts for the back. We did the sideways lift. Now what I like to do is bend my arm and have my upper arm and elbow on the floor to push a little bit to bring my feet back up. You can always shift your hips just like we do in any other twist. Take your knees to the right. Try to be up close to the wall with your buttocks. Try to have your feet maybe tucked in toward your buttocks if you want. Hold the pose. Again, you can have your arm resting on something behind you, so you don't have to pull on the shoulder. If you can't, rest it on the floor. Yeah. We're going to hold this for the full 3 minutes, even if we do run over a little bit. You all are the ones that come to the wall class anyways. I'm going to turn my ringer off because I don't know if that's going to affect you all. We have a minute to go. You do. Sorry for running over a little bit. $20. Okay, that's 3 minutes. Carefully come out of the pose. You can lay on your mat and hug your knees and rock a little bit. Massage your back. Put your legs up the wall. Turn them side to side or come to seated. Rolling to your side, coming to seated. And then you can shift and have your legs straight forward on the floor and lean back and rock them side to side, or bend your knees and rock them side to side. Work it out a little bit. And when you're ready, we're starting on top of the ball and bouncing as we always do. I was thinking of trying to do the gong and the bowls on Wednesday and next Saturday, perhaps. But the sound may be different through the phone than it was through the computer. But I don't, it's not the same, as we know. And if you're bouncing, start bouncing a little bit side to side, just little movements, little bounces. And come back to center and shuffle your heel out and then back and then the other one. Hold the ball if you don't feel secure. Takes a while. I wonder if they're going to be using, they probably are. I think some of the other classes use the balls at the wellness center. Come back and stomp. We should have a hula hoop class. That's what we should do. Outside somewhere. That'd be fun. Or not, right? Okay, feet down, circle on top of the ball. Back. Other way around. center, hands on the ball, stand feet a little bit wider. Curve side to side, let your ball roll a little bit to the opposite side. One more time, both sides. Let's do something that's for the arms and shoulders, but it also works the abs in the back. Arms up, fingers, no, arms straight out to the side. That's it. I always start this wrong. And as you twist to the right, bend your right elbow, press it back a little bit, release a little bit, press it back again, and come back to arms straight. As you twist left, bend the left elbow to 90 degrees, press it back again, and come back. Don't overdo it. Watch your shoulders. Right, press, and back, left, and press, and back. Right, palm facing the floor, bends about 90 degrees when you bend it. 4, 4, 5, 5. Watch your shoulders. Don't push it back too far. 6, try to rotate from the hips. 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. Why do arms get so heavy? 9, 10, 10. Release. Now cross your right arm under the left. Let's do half cow face with just the arms. Wrap them around. You can do a gentle push down and hold it. We need to stretch that out. We don't want our shoulders to tighten. Try to relax your shoulders. Try to stay straight-ish with your back. Okay, untwist. Left arm underneath. Just let your shoulders drop. Maybe press gently down a little bit. And twist. Now, before we do laying face up on the ball and working the upper abs, let's do some standing, more arm and ab stuff. You'll feel it in your abs if you're careful. You're going to hold the ball on the sides. You're not going to lean back. You're going to get nice and straight. Tighten your abs. And slowly lift the ball up, and you can feel your abs working. Slowly lower back down, arms straight. Ish, don't lock them straight, but slowly up. If you can't reach completely overhead, that's okay. Just bring it up wherever you can. Move slowly. Keep your abs active. As your arms get up, you will feel it in the low back. Next time you take it up, keep it up. And again, if you have to bend your elbows to keep it overhead, you can bend your elbows. Stand with your feet just a couple inches apart. And curve your body, keeping the ball right above your head. Curve. Hips go right as you lean your shoulders in the ball. Left. Hips go left as you lean right. Don't overdo it. Just enough to work your waist muscles, back, your abs. Try to keep the ball right above your head. You can feel it maybe on your hair. One more time, both directions. And release. What a relief that is, huh? Okay, face up on the ball. Work your way forward till you feel the ball supporting your low back, like below your shoulder blades. If you're lifted a little bit below your shoulder blades might touch when you go back a little bit. Fingertips behind your head, or hold a strap going behind your head. If it's hard on your shoulders, for your fingers to be behind. Do little crunches. Isolate the upper abs. Focus on them, pulling them in. And you don't have to round. You can lift up straight to the ceiling as you do it. Or one straight up and one round, and don't come all the way up, crunching all the way up. Stay low and do little, focusing on the upper abs, and keep going. Move slowly with intention and attention. Okay, arms out if you're not holding a strap. If you're holding a strap, you can just keep your arms there. And crunch. And if it's hard on the neck, put one hand behind your head and do one crunch, and then put the other hand behind. Again, focusing on the upper abs. And if you can, and if you want, you can lift straight up again. But with the arms, it gets harder and harder. So it's actually slightly easier to round a little bit forward, a little bit up, than it is to try to stay straight. Arms overhead alongside your ears. And again, just do 6 at your count, whether lifting straight up, or curving, or one hand behind one arm, and then change sides. Try to keep the arm alongside your head and not reach it forward, but if that's the only way you can do it, reach forward, that's okay. You're doing 6 at your own count. When you're done, put your hands behind your head and roll down, roll up, stretch your back. Or if you feel more comfortable, you can put your hands on the floor. floor. Okay, back to the same starting position. Low back supported, fingers behind your head, and go back. Don't go back, arching back. Just go back to about straight. Maybe back arch a little bit. Reach your left hand forward, past the outside of your right knee, and come back, hands behind your head. Reach your right hand forward, past the outside of the left knee, and come back. Keep your feet down, crunch up sideways. Moving slowly. Just think, when I join a class through Zoom, I'll keep my video off and I won't have to do everything. I can just rest when I want to. That's one of the nice things about Zoom. Not that I wouldn't do that in a public class. I would, but still, people feel conspicuous or something, self-conscious if they rest, when other people are not, which takes a while to get over in yoga. It really does, especially if you're a teacher, and especially if they know you're a teacher. That's the worst part. Okay, reach left hand to right, right hand to left, one last time. Then hands behind your head, and again, roll down, butt to your heels or toward the floor, and roll back up. Stretch your back. Okay, come off the ball and face down over the ball. Toes touch, ball at your lowest rib, just barely touching your lowest rib and not touching your knees, or maybe just slightly touching the tops of your knees, but your feet need to be on the ground. Arms are straight down from your shoulders. Don't bend your elbows as you lift both legs slowly up. Back down, just up to parallel. Don't swing them way up in the air where you do this bouncy thing. Just lift them up to parallel and back down. Keep moving, strengthening primarily your low back, but low mid back as well. This is a good one, and the nice thing is when your feet go down, you're stretching back a little bit. And then you lift up and you're tightening the muscles, and then you go down and you relax them and stretch them a little bit. So you're getting kind of best of both worlds, doing the back strengthening this way. Helps prevent your back from aching while still getting it strong. Okay, alternate legs. One leg slowly lifts, keeping it straight, and back down. Other leg slowly lifts. If you bend your leg, you're not working your glutes as much, or your back. You're doing it with hamstrings. So try to keep your legs straight. Feel the movement from the butt and the back. Okay, finish your second leg. I guess it might be your left. And then hug your legs together so the sides of your knees are together, the sides of your heels or the ankle bone, sides of your big toes. Squeeze them and keep squeezing them. Keep those muscles active, those squeezing in muscles active as you lift both legs up and back down. Lifting straight legs. Squeeze. This is harder. You're flexing and you're tightening those muscles. It's harder to move and they get more work. So bend your elbows. Just a couple more because I know this is hard. Think. Lower down. Still laying over the ball, still the same position. You may have to adjust because you do tend to slide. So again, the ball's just touching the lowest rib and maybe touching the top of your kneecap, maybe not. Twist. Separate your feet a little bit. Lift one arm up, but don't push it back behind. Rotate the whole torso. And down the other arm, up. The only reason my whole arm goes back behind is because my whole torso and my shoulder are going behind as well. I'm not pulling just the arm back, pulling on the shoulder. Keep going, twisting, working mid-back, upper back, waist. So that plant, if you've seen my Facebook post, it's in my planter. They both are tomatoes. And the only way I can think of that they got there, because they don't have a label, I use the label that comes with them, is I broke off some of the lower branches on some that I planted, and I just stuck that lower branch in there because June said they would grow. And she was right. That's the only thing I can think of as to how they got there. Okay, let's lie down, legs over the ball. Rock a little bit side to side. Rolling a little bit side to side. We're just going to do two of the main leg lift ones that we do. And I think I'll save some of the other leg lift ones for next Saturday, our last class. Oh, joy. But they're good for us. And again, there'll be a recording so that you'll be able to see some if you want to practice them. Okay, while we're here, though, with our legs over the ball, we have time. Pull the ball in against your hamstrings, back to your thighs, separate your legs a little bit. Slowly lift your hips, and then pull your abs in and round down one vertebrae at a time, starting at the topmost that's touching the mat, and then relax for just a second, and slowly lift. Remember, don't push your belly up, don't arch your back. Tighten your abs and roll back down. And keep moving slowly, strengthening the back of the body, the glutes, and intentionally strengthening the abs. Okay, straddle the ball, lift. Sometimes you may have to roll up your pant legs so you're on bare legs, that doesn't slide as much. Make sure the ball is down, at least touching the part of your knee, and rock. Little rock, side to side. And if you want, you can rock so that the bottom leg goes down to about 45-degree angle. It's a little bit more than what we usually do for our little rock, but that works you a little bit more. You might feel, as you go left, you might feel the right buttock not come off, but lift up, not be quite as much contact with the mat. The low back area, it will lift. Just keep slow rocking. Again, bend your knees, just as long as your thighs are up, pointing toward the ceiling. You don't want to have them out like this and be trying to rock side to side. I mean, granted, that works you more, but it can also strain your back. But if your back is strong, if your abs are strong, you can do it this way. Lower the ball, legs over the ball. Let's rest for a moment before we do the other leg lifting one. Rock a little bit side to side. Almost done for today. Straddle the ball, lift, position it, little circles. Don't take it down close to the mat. Keep it up. Bring it toward above your head a little bit. Knees can be bent, of course. Slow. Feel your low abs working. And always hold your legs. Just try not to do the pulling in with your legs. Try to do your abs. Other way around. Yeah. Lower the ball. Legs over the ball. Rock side to side. You can just lay here for a while and rock and massage your back, or just lay here just steady and just let your back relax. And I will see some of you on Wednesday. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you for being here. Sat Nam and Namaste.